Hey there, Don. For our research video, we wanted to talk about how prevalent basketball is in Spain.
Me and Jay have always been real die-hard basketball fans coming from America. Matter of fact, we played basketball just about every day of our life and every year of our life. But coming here, we know that the stereotype is that Spain only plays football.
Football, that is, Daryl. And actually, I believe it was you, Don, who said Spain only has one sport, football. And then you corrected yourself saying they only has two teams, Real Madrid and Barcelona, which is really appalling to us because as American basketball fans, we know that Spain produces high-quality players and has asserted themselves on a global level.
Yeah, matter of fact, in the past two Olympics, Spain gave USA a run for their money in the gold medal games and actually asserted themselves as a global powerhouse when it comes to basketball.
Yeah, those games are actually very tight, and this is quite remarkable because if you think of the 1992 USA Dream Team, they beat teams by an average of 50 points. And just a mere 20 years later, for Spain to take the USA national team to the fourth quarter in two nail-biting gold medal games is quite remarkable.
Now, with this project, we really want to find out if Spanish basketball gets the respect that it deserves.
We plan on conducting many interviews. We wanted to find stats if more people in Spain have been watching basketball throughout the years. Maybe the 1992 Olympics had a huge spike in popularity. And we want to see like daily media, whether it be like newspapers, articles, to see how much attention Spanish basketball gets on a daily basis.
We really hope you enjoy our project.
And yeah, we're really curious. Going into this, we feel that Spain doesn't really necessarily give basketball the credit it deserves, but we're very curious to see if we're right or we're wrong. We start our research with one of Coakley's 6 social spheres, Mundo Deportivo, and right from the get-go, Spanish football, particularly FC Barcelona, is garnering all the attention. It was quite ridiculous. Out of 45 pages in the newspaper, Spanish football received 34 of those pages. Even FC Barcelona events such as fundraisers, charity events, and even the youth team garnered more attention than FC Barcelona basketball. This immediately installed the idea that anything associated to FC Barcelona football seemed better than the rest. FC Barcelona basketball finally got their page, but it was on page 42 out of 45 pages. Pau Gasol got a page as well, but you have to think it's more likely because he's a native Catalonian, not anything else.
To further perpetuate Jay's idea, we also looked at the sports section of another newspaper, El Punt, to see if they distributed the majority of their attention to football as well. Undoubtedly, even the smallest clip about Messi came before Spanish basketball. Even a strategic win in bicycling came before Spanish basketball. Finally, on page 23 out of 27, basketball finally gets some attention.
After reading various sports sections in different newspapers, we started to wonder how could a team which experienced so much global success not be respected by the people in its national country?
We now wanted to find out firsthand what the people of Spain had to say about their basketball team.
Hola, yo estoy en Plaza Catalunya.
It's not Spanish,
With mi amigo Judith, and we're here to talk about basketball. So, ¿eres un fan de baloncesto? Mucho. ¿Tú conoces todos los jugadores de baloncesto o any? Pero sí. Está bien, está bien. ¿Tú miras deportes en general?
Sí, el fútbol y natación también.
Fútbol y
Natación.
oh, y natación. Qué interesante, qué interesante. So, ¿por qué no miras baloncesto? ¿Es algo interesante?
Bueno, no hay mucha cultura en mi casa de mirar el básquet, pero bueno. Es claro, es que aquí en España es más de fútbol y otros deportes de fútbol sobre todo, y el baloncesto es como
Okay. That's actually cool. That's cool. So Judith actually just said that football is by far like the biggest sport in Spain, and everything else is kind of like less than. And I asked her why she doesn't like basketball, and she said that her culture around her and the people around her don't like basketball, so she doesn't like basketball. So yeah.
Sí, pero en las noticias siempre solo es fútbol. Y para los otros deportes solo 5 minutos y ya está.
Really? So it goes like en importante, en los fútbol y
Sí.
todos los deportes.
Sí, bueno, básquet también, pero
En,
uso a veces hockey.
in comparison de fútbol, it's like bam, bam. Sí, sí. Okay. Okay. Well, gracias mucho, Judith. That's it. Thank you.
We also interviewed an older Spanish woman named Ana Broza, who preferred not to be identified. She has some interesting things to say about Spanish basketball. Turns out she was not a fan of Spanish basketball and not influenced by the '92 Olympics. However, she used to watch Spanish basketball solely because her dad played basketball. He no longer plays basketball, and now she no longer watches basketball. It was interesting to see the correlation between what influences her more, famous athletes or her family. But, however, she was very proud to mention the fact that Paul and Marc Gasol are actually Catalonian and now play in the NBA and are very good basketball players. It was cool to find out that even though she did not watch much basketball, she still knew who Paul and Marc Gasol were and were proud that they were Catalonian.
After interviewing Anna and Juliet, I think we learned a lot about Spanish basketball from a woman's perspective. It was really interesting that Anna mentioned that even huge athletes like Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and the rest of the '92 Dream Team couldn't come close to the influence that her dad had on her. Juliet also reassured the fact that football in Spain is much bigger than basketball and doesn't even come close in comparison.
Hi, so today we're going to talk about Spanish basketball. We're going to work on getting various perspectives. Here I'm with my friend Salim, and we're going to talk, and my friend Cristina, and we're going to talk about Spanish basketball. So tú miras baloncesto?
Sí.
Sí. Miras baloncesto
Español.
solo españoles o posible
No.
Estados Unidos?
Español y NBA. Estados Unidos.
Oh, sí.
Me gusta mucho.
Me gusta mucho,
Sí,
sí,
me gusta.
sí. En comparación,
En comparación.
fútbol o baloncesto, en tu opinión, ¿es fútbol es más importante de baloncesto o es even?
Ya.
Sí,
que
están en plan igualados o sí,
que
fútbol
son
más
diferentes. Son sport diferentes.
Okay.
Pero
El
¿tú cuál crees que
baloncesto.
es más importante, en plan, en España, el fútbol o el baloncesto?
El fútbol.
Football.
Sí.
Football.
En España, fútbol.
And if you can put like a ranking on how, like, is football all the way here and is basketball here? Like, is there a huge gap?
Sí, en
between
plan,
the
¿hay mucha
football?
diferencia entre el fútbol y el básquet o dirías que están en plan más o menos cerca?
No mucha diferencia.
But
Sí.
it's sort of different.
Sí.
So, cuando tú hablas con sus amigos para deportes, ¿tú hablas mucho fútbol o baloncesto?
Mucho fútbol.
Mucho fútbol,
Ya.
sí.
Aquí se habla mucho fútbol.
Sí, sí.
Ya. Pero me gusta también el baloncesto.
Oh, ¿tú juegas baloncesto?
No juego.
Oh, okay.
Antes en el colegio, sí.
Oh, wow.
Yo pequeño jugaba en el colegio.
Oh, fantastic.
¿Me he entendido? ¿No has
No,
entendido?
no.
Yes,
Sí, ¿qué posición tú juegas?
Ah, bueno, no lo sé, no me acuerdo.
Era pequeño.
Era pequeño,
Oh,
era pequeño.
Okay, well.
Pero me gusta. Pero aquí en España, sí, más fútbol que
Okay.
baloncesto.
So I actually have a question. When you were growing up, did a lot of your friends juega football, or were you kind of like, a select crowd with like basketball? You know what I'm trying to say?
Que si cuando estabais creciendo, que si erais un montón que jugabais
básquet.
a básquet o si erais en plan unos cuantos que jugabais a básquet y la mayoría jugaban a fútbol.
La mayoría juegan a fútbol.
So the majority were playing
Yeah,
football.
Majority of
There were,
football, so
like,
it's
a
kind
few
of
of them.
Okay, so basketball was always like a rare exception in comparison to football.
Okay, so can you guys introduce yourselves? What's your name and where you're from and how old you are?
Well, I'm Angel. I'm 19 years old and I'm from a city near Barcelona, Tarragona.
Yeah, I'm Muriel. I'm 18. This is my first year studying at Barcelona, and I'm from.
Barcelona basketball?
Yeah, I often go to the
The games?
yeah to see the games because we have supporters and people who encourage the team, and is sometimes free. And
Okay.
It's easy to go. It's too far from but it's free. My father, for example, he has been training for 14 years and started. He always played football, but when he was 20, he watches the Will Chamberlain.
Will Chamberlain.
Yeah, 100 points in the match, and he said, "I have to play the game," and that's why I started basketball in my family.
Wow. Do you watch Paul Gasol and his brother Marc Gasol play basketball in the NBA?
Yeah, when I can, yes, but it's too difficult to. We have to get up and out of the bed and.
Yeah.
Very early.
Because I watched the All-Star
The
game
reels.
that they jump.
Oh, okay.
They
Oh,
did the
yeah.
All-Star jump, and that was so amazing for all the Catalan people or Spanish people, because two brothers of here
Same
near here,
country.
some boy, Barcelona, do that jump in one of the most popular games of the year. We are so proud.
Do you know where Spain basketball is ranked in the worldwide scale?
Well, definitely in the top 10, I think. So.
So after all the research we did about Spanish basketball and the interviews that we conducted, I think it's very safe to say that our opinion changed about the people in Spain and their love towards basketball.
However, the women kind of did prove our initial hypothesis correct, being that they did not know much about Spanish basketball. But Anna did give us some insight onto what influenced them to like sports in general. She told us that her dad was her main influence to watching basketball, and she used to watch it when he played, but when he stopped playing it, she stopped watching it.
And yeah, and to add along to that, Juliet actually said one of the main reasons why she knows a little about basketball were her friends. So it's interesting this contrast between how the women were very heavily influenced by their peers, Anna with the family and Juliet with the friends, opposed to the guys who, when we asked them their biggest influence in basketball, they were quick to jump to high-profile NBA athletes and FC Barcelona athletes. So the influence contrast between the men and the women were very interesting in this research.
Although there's a contrast with what inspired them to watch sports, one thing that we did find consistent was their overall love for the Marc and Paul Gasol brothers, being that they were Catalan. If you recall, Anna was quick to tell us, even though she didn't know much about basketball, she was quick to tell us that Marc and Paul Gasol were both Catalonian and were from here.
Overall, our hypothesis about Spanish basketball or Spanish people with Spanish basketball did get the same defense that we needed within the newspapers. The newspapers didn't give much attention at all to Spanish basketball, but we were very surprised when we conducted all these interviews how many people, particularly the men, knew about the FC Barcelona team, knew about the Spanish basketball team, and to a higher extent, NBA players, and they actually really care about basketball.
Now, one thing that also surprised us was our friend Salim told us that the gap for him was not that present between football and basketball. For him, the gap, they were two different sports, but the gap wasn't as enormous as we initially thought, which is different than what we initially thought. And also, out of the 46 million people in Spain, 12.5 million of them watched the 2012 USA versus Spain Golden Game to decide who won the championship.
It's going to be very exciting to see Spanish basketball within the next 20 years. I mean, if you look at the past 20 years, from 92 to 2015, USA was beating everyone by 50 points. And now you have Spain, the past two gold medal games, closing it down to like the gold medal game to under 10 points. And Spanish basketball is getting better and better, not to mention the Gasol brothers jumping in the All-Star game. Spanish basketball has a bright future, and it was very pleasant to see that a lot of the young men here, and older men, have a great appreciation for the game, and that their fan base is growing by the day. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed our video.